Hello. Today on the Abby and Wendy Show, we have Warren St. John, the author of Outcasts United. So Warren, my first question for you is, what exactly is your book about? It's a story of a refugee soccer team that changed the town. Alright, so Warren, my second question for you is, how did you find Luma and the Fugees? I heard about the team, so I went to go watch a game, and I became very interested in their story. Alright, so Warren, what exactly was your first impression of the Fugees team? They looked like an average soccer team, but except they were more culturally diverse. I knew they had a lot more stories behind them. Alright, so what exactly did you think of Luma after, your whole story was done? I thought she was really tough and she had harder strategies for teaching her boys self-discipline and self-confidence. And at the end, it really worked out, and so I was actually really proud of her and her team. Yeah. So, what exactly did you think of all the good publicity that came out of all this, from Nike and sponsorships? Well, I think the publicity really helped out the team in ways that if I didn't write the story, that maybe it wouldn't happen. I feel like in the future they'll be much stronger and they're going to have better opportunities because they have more publicity and everyone thinks positively of them.
Hello, I'm Luma, and I'm the second guest star on the Abby and Wendy Show for Outcasts United.
So Luma, how did you find the soccer team, the Fugees?
Well, I had originally coached a girls soccer team where I was originally from, and as I was driving through Clarksville, I saw that a lot of people were wearing things around their heads, unique dresses from their countries, and I decided that it was a really interesting town. So I looked into it a little bit more, and I saw that it was mostly made of refugees from other countries. And so while I was visiting, I saw a lot of boys playing soccer around unsafe yards and areas around town, and I decided I would start a soccer team. So I asked the Y if they would help me in this, and they said they would, and that's pretty much how it got started.
That's very interesting.
Yep. And with the help of Warren St. John, I kind of got it on my feet and more public.
How was coaching all these refugees? Was it interesting? Was it fun?
Well, it was really interesting because you got to learn all their stories along with coaching them at the same time, and to see how they improved, and to get to meet their parents was a big thing too, just to be able to see their families and what they're going through, and to hear a lot of what they're going about as in their story and before they came to America. I was from Jordan, and my country was stricken by war, and just to be able to relate to these kids is a big deal for me.
Were they a good group of kids? Did they do what they were supposed to do and get along?
Some of them were jokesters. A lot of them liked to just play around and goof off, but under my supervision, I kind of tried to lead them in the right direction, and trying to not play around, try and be obedient, teach them some basics and etiquette and manners towards adults and elderly. And I felt like a lot of them improved, and it really helped them in their grown-up life.
Have you learned anything from the experience of having them?
Well, I learned a lot. I learned that many people with different backgrounds, they can all come together, and if you really just treat everyone as one, they'll play as one. And a lot of my students, they didn't understand my tactics at first about being hardcore, until they reached a higher level of maturity, and they finally understood that, wow, her making us run 5-10 laps before we start practicing actually helps us when we're doing a game.
So you have 3 youth divisions. How long did that take you to coach them all?
A big part of my life was devoted to them. Before I got to Clarksville, I was actually in a nearby restaurant, and I happened to manage it. But once I got into the soccer, it just got too difficult to manage a restaurant and to do both. So I decided that I would just totally stop at the restaurant, and I hate to just quit on things. I'm usually not a quitter, but I felt as though I wanted the boys to be able to learn, and I felt I could put much more of my time in if I was totally just all my mind would focus on the soccer team. And so with 3 youth divisions, that's definitely harder, because just to coach I don't know how many boys, probably close to 60 to 70 boys in a week is just really difficult. Plus I have one in like the mid early afternoon, one in the mid later afternoon, and one in like the very late afternoon. So it's pretty difficult to manage my time. So I had to get an assistant named Tracy, and she's really helped out.
So when you found out that Warren was going to help you, how did you feel? Like, how did it take?
I was a little skeptical at first to have my story and my students' or coachees' story out to the public, but I felt as if it would be a good learning experience to have someone watching their game and to kind of be writing about it. And it would kind of give them a peek in other people's lives, because I know Warren interviewed a lot of the teammates and got a little bit into their personal lives. And it also brought some publicity, publicity to our team, and we actually got sponsorships from Nike and other sports related things. So it was really good at the end, and I felt like a lot of the boys enjoyed having the story.